The public's understanding of events began on August 14th, with a frantic 911 call. Rebecca Haro, a mother of 4, claimed her 7-month-old son, Emmanuel, had been violently kidnapped from a shopping center parking lot in Ukaipa. She told a harrowing story. A man had ambushed her, hitting her on the head and stealing her baby. The story hit a collective nerve. Emmanuel's face was everywhere in newspapers, on the evening news, and across every social media platform. The community, heartbroken and terrified by the thought of a predator in their midst, mobilized instantly. Volunteers organized search parties, and countless people shared his photo, desperate to bring the baby home. This was a narrative everyone understood. A classic nightmare scenario of an innocent child taken. It was an outpouring of grief and a furious, united effort to find a missing baby. But while the public was searching for a stranger, investigators were quietly, meticulously building a timeline of their own. They were looking for something else, a detail that would surface days later and change everything they thought they knew. Within days, however, the facade began to crack. As law enforcement continued their investigation, they found Rebecca's story of a violent attack in a busy parking lot was riddled with inconsistencies. Surveillance footage from the area didn't show the struggle she described. The public narrative of a random kidnapping began to feel less like a tragedy and more like a carefully constructed deception. But it was a search warrant served on the family's property that truly changed everything. It was here, in the mundane, seemingly innocent backyard, that the case took its chilling turn. Detectives, following a lead, located Emmanuel's belongings, his clothes discarded in the trash behind the family's home. The discovery was a devastating blow to the kidnapping theory. A new, far more sinister narrative emerged, and the case was reclassified not as a missing persons investigation, but as a homicide. The monster they had been searching for wasn't a stranger. It was someone who had been there all along. Investigators' deep dive revealed a narrative built on deceit. The first crack appeared when Rebecca's story of a violent kidnapping was cross-referenced with surveillance footage from the area. There was no attack, no struggle, and no sign of an unknown assailant. Her claim of a black eye also failed to align with the events captured on video. This initial finding, while significant, was a mere prelude to the most damning piece of evidence. A search warrant was executed on the Haro's property. It was here, in the mundane, seemingly innocent backyard, that detectives made a chilling discovery. In the trash bin, they found evidence that directly contradicted the entire kidnapping narrative. This discovery, while not a body, was a clear and devastating sign of a cover-up. It was a silent, gut-wrenching betrayal that spoke volumes. The case had shifted definitively from a desperate search for a missing child to a murder investigation. The biggest breakthrough, however, came from within. While in jail, Jacob Haro reportedly confessed to an informant that he accidentally killed his son and disposed of the body in the trash. This horrifying admission confirmed what the evidence had already hinted at. The parents were not victims, but suspects. And then came the final, devastating piece of the puzzle. Jacob's past. A search of his criminal record revealed a prior conviction for willful child cruelty, involving his infant daughter from a previous relationship. This wasn't a one-time accident. It was a pattern of abuse. The revelation added a dark and devastating layer to the case, suggesting a history of violence and enhanced systemic failure to protect a vulnerable child. In any true crime case, a narrative forms. The one presented to the public by Rebecca and Jake Haro, that of a stranger kidnapping their son, was a powerful, emotionally charged theory that compelled thousands to help. But as investigators peeled back the layers of deception, that theory crumbled. It was unequivocally debunked by the cold, Hard facts of surveillance footage. The discovery of evidence in the trash bin behind the home, and the devastating Jailhouse Confession. The only theory left standing was the one no one wanted to believe, that the parents themselves were involved. The evidence points to the tragic conclusion that Jake and Rebecca staged the kidnapping to cover up their son's death. The case of Baby Emmanuel Haro is a heartbreaking look into the darkest aspects of human nature and a tragic example of systemic failure. The image is clean and simple, with no unnecessary graphic elements. The mindset of a parent capable of such a heinous act is something we instinctively want to reject. We want to believe that the bond between a parent and child is unbreakable. But this case, like so many others, challenges that belief. The psychological manipulation used to mislead both law enforcement and the public was a key component of this crime. Rebecca's staged black eye and her public pleas for her son's return were designed to elicit sympathy and divert attention from the truth. This calculated performance demonstrates a chilling capacity for deception and a profound lack of remorse, a common thread in cases of filicide. This tragedy also forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the justice system itself. Jake Haro had a prior conviction for willful child cruelty involving his infant daughter from another relationship. In that case, a judge, against the recommendation of the prosecutor, chose to give him probation instead of a prison sentence. The Riverside County District Attorney has since stated publicly that if the judge had done his job, Emmanuel would be alive today. This isn't about casting blame, but about understanding a profound and preventable failure. It highlights the cracks in a system designed to protect the most vulnerable. And in this case, those cracks proved to be fatal. It serves as a stark reminder that when the system fails, it's often the innocent who pay the ultimate price. The public's response was a mix of genuine heartbreak and dangerous speculation. On social media, while the calls to find Emmanuel helped spread awareness, the platforms also became a breeding ground for misinformation, false sightings, and online vigilantism that complicated the investigation. But what we must also remember is the sheer power of community support. The initial, well-intentioned efforts of the people of Ukiah to find Emmanuel. Their emotional landscape shifted dramatically as the truth emerged. A testament to the fact that they were victims of a cruel deception, just as much as they were well-meaning helpers. Take a moment to think about your own town. Could this happen in your community? Could a family in plain sight be hiding a devastating secret? This story is a stark reminder that tragedy can be hidden behind closed doors. Would you have noticed? Don't let this story be a passing headline. Take a moment to share this video to ensure Emmanuel's name is never forgotten. While the parents have been arrested, the ultimate fate of Emmanuel's body remains a haunting question. The search for his remains continues, leaving a void for both investigators and the community. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about what we believe we know about the people around us, and the silent tragedies that unfold every day. Emmanuel's story is a testament to an unbearable loss and a profound betrayal. His young life was cut short, and his story deserves to be told with respect and a fierce pursuit of the truth. If you believe, as I do, that every child's life matters and every victim deserves justice, then you have a role to play. Please subscribe and share this video. By doing so, you are not just helping a YouTube channel. You are helping to ensure that the memory of Emmanuel Haro, a beautiful boy who was failed by those who should have protected him, will live on.